slash OptiSwap. The two are very much entangled for me. So I'll just start with some background on all this and then get into the proposals. So me, I'm Rory. I'm kind of software math person. I'm HOGE vigilante by night. I want to mention my partner Algo, who is kind of crucial to OptiSwap as well. We've been working together for a very long time. So a little background on HOGE for those who are not familiar. It showed up about 2.5 years ago. It kind of kicked off the meme dog coin craze, which saw a lot of kind of pump and dumps through Uniswap. It was one of the original reflection tokens, which means there's a 2% tax on every transfer that gets fairly distributed to all the other holders. So it's got an interesting tokenomics. It was abandoned by the creators, so there was no real official dev team. It's just been pushed forward by the community. It's sort of inspired people as an open brand. It's the first exposure to kind of using DeFi Ethereum for a lot of people. And it's inspired a lot of ideas, a lot of experimentation and proposals, which is kind of a double-edged sword because people are able to promise things, promise projects or exchange listings that they weren't able to deliver on. So we've leaned into the drama. There's loads of lore. It's just, it is what it is. It's fun. My background with HOGE, or me and Algo, we were interested in the idea, but we decided to do some due diligence and do a deep read of the contract code. So we actually found a few issues. There were efficiency issues where the contract maintainer had pushed up the cost to perform transactions. So it was more than double what it should have been. And this also implies a vulnerability to the maintainer where they could keep pushing it up. So this is where we sort of became active in the community, campaigning to bring awareness of this and also to execute on the fix, which we advised how to fix the efficiency issue. So that took a few months, but we got through it. After that, I was invited to join leadership structure in April of last year. So this has been the longest running leadership team and the only one that's actually been voted in by holders on Snapshot. So that's our background. We moved on from there. We kept asking, that was all, it was fun and encouraging to get those fixes in. And we kept asking, what are the big problems that we can solve and what are the elegant solutions to those? So I'll walk through a few of those fairly quickly. Starting with the swap utility. So this is not a new exchange. It is not an exchange aggregator. It's simply a front end for accessing Uniswap v2 liquidity. We are seeing Uniswap would update their front end with new bells and whistles, but they would just kind of forget about the fact that there's tax tokens on Uniswap v2. So we would see transactions get front run or simply not work with no useful message. So what we wanted to do was provide something that was a more stable and consistent experience for swapping, with a couple bells and whistles based on some other research we did. Next thing we put out was an OTC swap tool because we saw a couple of kind of high profile over-the-counter trades that were happening in a trustful manner. Like, you send me dollars, I'll send you HOGE. So we said, the technology is there. We don't need to be doing that anymore in this decade. So here's this tool. And this one's notable because it lets users easily deploy single purpose contracts onto Ethereum using an intuitive UI. You can get a contract that it's for exactly what you want it to do. And you settle this peer-to-peer, skip the price impact of Uniswap, etc. It's nice. Next, let's see, we started getting into harder problems that weren't just technical, but they were more social. LP of HOGE was dwindling in the bear market. You know, there's no dev team. It's no one's responsibility. It's really everyone's responsibility and everyone's problem that there's low LP. But for the average person, they might not have the background or confidence to feel like that's something that they can get involved with. So the group LP product is meant to make that a little more engaging, using campaigns, time-bounded, matching the ether side of the token. Everybody enters a time lock together. That's got a little extra bit of incentivization on top of it. So that's been a big success this year, and we've more than doubled HOGE liquidity with these campaigns. So that brings us to the present day. A lot of the technical fundamentals are kind of solved with this toolkit that we have now. The big hard problem is we're deep in the bear market. Everybody's deep in the red. People don't care anymore. People aren't keeping up. They're just checked out of crypto. It just happens. So we're asking, what can we deliver that will get people excited again? So I have two things. The first one I want to look at is we've been asking ourselves questions about the governance methods that we've been using. Typically what we do is we have a snapshot vote put up by the team, and then it gets circulated on Telegram and Reddit. So on Snapshot, you don't have the flexibility of anybody can post or comment or engage. It's kind of one-sided. And then on Reddit and Telegram, you have this problem of you don't really know if you're dealing with someone who is a stakeholder or not. It could just be someone who sold and now wants to cause trouble. So what we'd like to do is combine the best of both worlds on a more flexible platform. So we're calling this the token zone. Basically, anybody can use their wallet with a certain threshold of balance, which would be, configurable. Make a simple post that's signed by their crypto wallet, or make a poll where the snapshot function is sort of built in. It's not the prime thing. It's just one tool in the belt that you can add to your post. And then the outcome could also affect on-chain actions. So for example, payout from a treasury wallet could be triggered by a vote, or some kind of crowd-funded effort could also be done. So this is kind of a case of building a better mousetrap. Like, there's nothing fundamentally new here, but we think we'd like to do a slightly nicer, take the best of all the features that we want and put this out if there is appetite for it. But what we're really excited about and we want to push in terms of capabilities, it's related to this picture. So blockchain gaming, it's almost a cliche to me at this point. There's so many attempts, so many projects trying to put things out. And we've been looking for something very specific that we haven't seen yet. That's that a token is integrated into the life cycle of a game, meaning the token balance can evolve based on the evolution of the game. Then that the game state evolves fully on chain. That way it inherits the trustless execution environment, and there's no, there's consensus about what happens within the game. So that's the architecture that we're proposing. There's three pieces to it. The first is bridging into the correct L1. We need something that has cheap transactions and fast settlement times. So we've been evaluating different ones and talking to dev teams from a few. We've had some strong interest from ICP and Algorand so far, but we're still kind of in the evaluation negotiation stage. So once you have your ERC20 bridge, you've got the game lobby, which just defines the sessions, the matchmaking, the life cycle of the individual games. And then you plug in your game, which, I mean, it could be checkers or chess or any kind of board game. The game that we want to build, we're calling it BULLDOG Blast. It's got a few inspirations. Top right here is a game that we actually built a few years ago. It's a online multiplayer combat game with a 1-second turn clock. So kind of just the structure that we want for this. And other inspiration would be the Bomberman series and the Worms series. So you have, it's not quite real time, but you need some reaction time, and then you just run around. You've got explosion physics. Let's see, in our game we had electricity and poison and all that. So some amalgamation of these three, kind of based on whatever we could get out of the L1 performance that we end up at. So we think that the time has come where the technology is there, and it's simply a matter of putting the pieces together for this kind of architecture. And we would like to do it. We think we're able to do it. We are kind of guns for hire in terms of just doing dev work, but we're also looking for R&D grants or investments for these specific products. That's all I've got. Thank you to the HOGE community for always supporting the stuff that we're doing, and to WhiteBIT for bringing us on.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for your showcase. Your brilliant aesthetic. You're definitely a bright mind after the presentation. So I have a few questions. I have a few minutes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Lovely. So it's amazing to see how your project shaped up from just like a meme coin to a super engaged community with games and even DeFi integrations right now with OptiSwap Pro. And I do believe like one of the biggest challenges for game developers is to create like this economics between a fun game to like essential and economics. So I believe you did, and not too long ago you joined OptiSwap. Could you maybe a little bit more about your synergy with OptiSwap Pro, and in addition to partner up with protocols in the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So OptiSwap really grew out of HOGE as I went through. You know, it's been a learning process of evaluating smart contracts and figuring out how the different parts of Uniswap and Ethereum all sit together, and find sort of slightly better ways to tune it up. So as we've learned and as we've figured out how all these pieces sit together, then just more possibilities keep springing up. You know, if you, the more you have in your toolkit, the more possibilities there are. So I keep saying, okay, this is going to be the last thing we do, but then we just keep kind of coming up with more things to do.
Amazing. I'm building for a long time. You have an engaged community, and I believe a lot of builders struggle with this. You got a very cool collective going on, and seeing that expand is for me amazing. Secondly, I would like to, one thing, it came to my attention that you also had like these tournaments going on. One of your games, HOGE Runner, I tried it and it was nostalgic. Are you aiming to host more of these tournaments in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of activity, you know, a huge community of people that are just kind of brought together for whatever reason by this the promise of what crypto has to offer in HOGE specifically. So I think recently I've seen people are playing, you know, online games in clans, like the new Diablo game and Counter-Strike. I think there are some active players on that. And then yeah, game tournaments in the future, definitely. Oh, it's something, if someone has an idea or they want to organize something, then we're just pretty receptive to anything that people want to whip up.
Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying. One of your games, by the way, that definitely captured my attention was the description HOGE Team Party game dice game of drinking dice game. I'm eager to know more about this. How you and your community engaged, and maybe a wild story that you have to share of your experience.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, during the bull run, everybody's a little high on life.
Absolutely.
Seeing numbers go up, so there was a strong level of community engagement, especially hopping on to Telegram voice chats, people talking deep into the hours of the night and finding different drinking games, HOGE related drinking games to play. I think the dice product was something that was manufactured at some point, but might not be available to purchase anymore, unfortunately. I think we're trying to move away from glorifying alcoholism.
That's a nice initiative, I can imagine, but still, it's amazing that you bring up this to the community, because like our previous glip says, crypto shouldn't be always serious, be fun, community driven, and I believe you're the top notch of how to have fun with your communities. So amazing job, Mr. Rory. I have one more question, personal question, and I see a lot of community comments agree with me. Is man, you look a star. Like, if you're not a superstar, you definitely deserve to be a crypto superstar. If you're all, so are you like thinking about dropping some of NFT? Think that the buyers can actually obtain the Rory hat and the Rory glasses, Rory gear. That will be hot, man. The demand will go skyrocket. No brainer.
Yeah, thanks. I think the NFT accessories in the game, whatever we end up building, could be a real fun idea.
I would love to see that. I will be your customer, and just for your couple, buy some HOGE coins after the event. This is from my side. Thanks so much, vibrant persona, your attendance, and like truly a great bridge. So I look forward to be a part of your community, see how it shapes up, and nothing but love for being here.
Great. All right. Thank you for having me, and thanks everyone for watching. Bye-bye.